Since KiCad first appeared in the PCB CAD world in 1992, it's gone through 8 major versions and evolved into a serious alternative to commercial products. I've been using KiCad almost daily since version 4, when I published the first edition of KiCad Like Pro. Once thought clunky and barely usable, KiCad is now a solid, reliable CAD application. It's consistently closed the feature and performance gap against its commercial competitors. It's made leaps in adding powerful features and has significantly improved its stability. Combined with the benefits of free and open source software, KiCad is simply the best PCB CAD software for most use cases. One benefit is KiCad's active and growing community of users and contributors. The KiCad project is supported by significant development funds through donations from its private users and commercial users. The KiCad core team is supported by the KiCad community. This community supports the KiCad project in various ways, such as writing code, creating and sharing libraries, and helping others to learn. Community members write documentation, record videos, report bugs, and share hacks. During each yearly development cycle, the KiCad repository shows tens of thousands of commits in the source code branches from the developer community. A similarly large number of commits is seen in other parts of the project, such as the libraries and the documentation. Another signal of the strength of the KiCad community is that KiCad includes completely or nearly completed translations to more than 12 languages. No other CAD software that I am aware of can boast this. PCB manufacturers have also taken notice. Many now publish KiCad-specific tutorials explaining how to order your boards. Some are now accepting the KiCad native layout file from your project instead of generating multiple Gerber files. And finally, KiCad is part of an expanding CAD ecosystem. You'll find KiCad-compatible component libraries on the internet's major repositories such as Napeda and Octopad, and native support in PCB project version control software for teams such as in CADlab.io. KiCad's post-version 8 roadmap has exciting new features and capabilities, such as the new Zone Manager features, which adds comments to ERC and DRC exclusions, and a selection filter for schematic and symbol editors. So why do I use KiCad? Well, it's because, for me, it's the best PCB software. I'm an electrical engineer with a background in electronics and computer engineering, but above all, I'm a technology educator and electronics hobbyist. Most of my PCB projects eventually find themselves in my books and courses. My projects are very similar to those of other hobbyists in complexity and size. I make things for my Arduino and Raspberry Pi courses. As a hobbyist, KiCad proved to be the perfect tool for me. Your use case may be different, of course. You may be a university student completing an engineering degree, a hobbyist or solo developer working in a startup company, or part of a team on commercial projects involving highly integrated multi-layer PCBs. Now, to help you decide whether KiCad is right for you, I've compiled a list of 12 KiCad benefits. Here they are. Benefit 1 is that KiCad is open source. This is very important, especially as I spent more time creating new and more complicated boards. Open source, by definition, means that the code base of the application is available for anyone to download and compile on their computer. While I'm not extreme in my choices between open source and closed source software, whenever a no-brainer open source option does appear, like KiCad, I take it. Benefit 2, it's free. This is particularly important for hobbyists. CAD tools can be expensive, and this becomes worse as most CAD software companies are now switching to a subscription-based revenue model. Regular fees do add up when you are a hobbyist or a student or bootstrapping for a startup. It's also true that most of us would not be even using half of the features of commercial CAD software, so it's hard to justify spending hundreds of dollars on PCB software when there is KiCad. And this brings me to benefit 3. KiCad is unlimited. There's no standard, premium, and platinum versions. It's a single download and you get everything. While there are commercial PCB tools with free licensing for students or hobbyists, there are always restrictions on things like how many layers and how big your board can be. what you can do with it once you have it, who can manufacture it, and much more. KiCad is unconditionally unlimited. Benefit 4. KiCad has awesome features. Professional grade features including interactive routing, length matching, multi-sheet schematics, configurable rules checker, and differential routing. While you may not need to use some of these immediately, you will eventually use them, and you can add new features through third-party add-ons. The Auto Router and Design for Manufacturing plugins are two examples that I also cover in this course. The ability to automate workflows and extend capabilities through Python scripts is another example of advanced features. Benefit 5. KiCad is continually improved. Since the publication of KiCad 6, I've seen a very well thought out and successfully implemented roadmap. When I wrote the first version of this book back in August 2018, KiCad 5 was about 1 month old. 3 years later, KiCad 6 was delivered with a new architecture and features that set the stage for KiCad's future development. I'm now recording this video in June 2024, and KiCad 8 was delivered on schedule just a couple of months ago, representing an evolution in the history of KiCad built on the success of KiCad 6. The roadmap ahead looks exciting. Benefit 6. KiCad's clear separation of schematics and layout is a bonus to learning and using it. Users of other PCB applications often find this confusing, but I think it's an advantage. Schematic design and layout design are indeed two different things. Schematic symbols can be associated with different footprints and depend on the project requirements. You can use the schematic editor independently of the layout editor or in sync. I often create schematic diagrams for my courses that I have no intention of converting into PCBs. I also often create multiple versions of a board using the same schematic, and this separation of roles makes both scenarios easy. Benefit 7. I can make my boards anywhere. That means I can manufacture my boards anywhere. I can upload my projects to any online fabricator that accepts the industry standard Gerber files, to an increasing number of fabricators that accept the native KiCad layout file, and of course to make them at home using an etching kit. Benefit 8. KiCad works anywhere. Whether you are using a Mac, Windows or Linux computer, you can use KiCad. I use it on all three platforms. I can take my KiCad project from the Mac and continue working on a Windows 10 or 11 machine without worrying about any software or project file glitches. Benefit 9. KiCad is very configurable. You can assign your favorite keyboard hotkeys and mappings, and with the mouse customizations, and you can fully adapt it to your preferences. With the additions of the plugin system and the Python API, extending your instance of KiCad with the exact features you need, or you can even write them, is possible. Benefit 10. If you want to simulate your circuits, then you can use a powerful SPICE simulator that is integrated to KiCad. You can draw the schematic in the schematic editor and simulate it in SPICE without leaving KiCad. SPICE first appeared in KiCad 5 and gradually improved with additional simulation types and tighter integration with the schematic editor. Benefit 11. KiCad's release cycle was somewhat chaotic in the past. Now, KiCad operates in a predictable yearly release cycle. Commercial users can now better predict how and when the software they depend on will change. As KiCad users, we can expect a reliable development schedule that prioritizes reliability. KiCad is now mature enough to evolve predictably. And finally, benefit 12. KiCad is now a serious productivity tool for businesses. If you are an electronics engineer, you can proudly list your knowledge of KiCad in your resume. If you use it in your business, you can contact the KiCad Services Corporation to customize the software to your specific requirements. You can purchase deep customization, not just changing the theme and the menu bars. This means that KiCad can fit perfectly with your business. As far as I know, there's no commercial CAD application that can do that. For the non-business users among us, we can expect that many of these business-led improvements will flow into future software versions in the tradition of open source software. And these are the 12 most important reasons I have chosen KiCad as my tool of choice for designing PCBs. These reasons might not suit you perfectly, but I hope that you'll consider completing this course before making your own decision. I've been using KiCad since version 4. This course contains almost everything I've learned as a KiCad user and is organized to help you learn KiCad quickly. The objective of the course is to make you productive by the time that you complete the first project. If you come from another PCB CAD tool and have experience designing PCBs, I only ask that you have an open mind. KiCad is almost certainly very different from your current PCB tool. It looks different and it behaves different. It will be easier to learn it if you consciously put aside your expectations and look at KiCad like a beginner would. Let's start.